The next section is rewrite suggestions. I said, you can get it to rewrite things, but my note here says, don't let it off its leash. So just to say it one more time, do not just copy and paste things that you get. Don't just let it generate a bunch of text and then you paste it in as your new text, because the output isn't necessarily accurate, doesn't necessarily speak like you do, may have some common phrases that you're going to see all over the internet now. You don't want that happening. You want it to be like you and make sure it's resonating with your audience. So keep your hands on the wheel. And there are a lot of different things you can use to get ideas for rewriting. I say rewrite, but it's ideas and suggestions. So you can identify sections that you feel need improvement, particularly things for more your style and tone. Maybe you want to add some more detail for clarity. You want to improve things. You want to explain it as if it's a different audience. So some of the explanations may not be something you think your audience would understand. Real world examples to add, metaphors and imagery, which can get a little out of hand also. It tends to use the same ones over and over. So experiment a little there, and I'll show you examples for that. So one would be rewriting a section in your own style. So you can say, please rewrite the following section in a conversational yet professional style, similar to my previous writings, or you can just refer it to your custom instructions. Focusing on new local life coaches as the target student of this course, and then paste in that small section that you want to rewrite. And what that looks like is, here I said, let's rewrite a few sections of the student guide, starting with this first one. And I used that prompt. And what I did here is I took from the introduction, because I feel like I've always noticed that the introduction is the place that will have the biggest impact in making sure it's in your voice, because a lot of the rest of the course is going to be more instructional. So it's the examples that will make the biggest difference, unless there are some concepts that are more complicated that you think your audience needs more explanation on. But the introduction has much more personal aspect to it. So in this course, let's go back to the introduction. So the introduction, you'll see, isn't long, but it's the background that starts getting people motivated and needs to resonate with your audience right away. So you can take that first section, go over to ChatGPT and paste it in, ask it to rewrite in your style for your audience, specify who it is, and it'll come back with something that you won't want to use right away. Because here it's used the word gold mine, which I can't stand. It's not really talking about the audience. It's still talking about whether you're the owner of a charming boutique or a trusted local service provider. It seems to have forgotten that I'm talking to local life coaches. So I had to give it some feedback. I said, please rewrite that again and avoid these words: gold mine, unlock, or unlocking. Also use I instead of we, so that I'm speaking to students directly. Now, if I'd referred it to the custom instructions where my style and tone guide is, it might not have made those mistakes. So here it rewrote it again. But again, it's still not really talking about my audience, not resonating with local life coaches, probably because I didn't remind it. So I said, rewrite it so it's targeted to my student audience of new life coaches. And now, finally, third go, it's starting to sound better. I wouldn't copy and paste this in again, but I like some of the things that it did. So I would just go back over to my Google Doc and paste that in so that when I go back and actually do my edits, I can pull from that. You can do it as you go, but I like to have everything there so that I can do it in a separate session, get all my ideas, and then go back and do it. I'm ready to move on to another section. So I have some ideas. I can go ahead and rewrite that now or do it later. Another great thing that I mentioned is you can get it to explain as if that target reader is someone else. So say there's a section that you're sure that your audience is not going to understand, like the local SEO one, because it's just something they've never heard of before. you can ask it to rewrite the following section to explain the concept of, and whatever that more complicated concept is, as if I'm brand new to business and coaching, and then put that in. So that's, you could also ask it to expand on it. So this works really well also. And what I did is I took something from the course book where it was on SEO. And I'm going to just go back and show you by going to find local SEO. I can see exactly where that is. So I can find it in the course book. And I can flip through here, local SEO tactics, and here it is, the section. So I already know in advance that this is one I want to show you. And there's a description of what local search is about. So this is, like I said, something that your audience will be totally unfamiliar with and need a little bit further explanation or explained in a simpler way. So I went into ChatGPT and I said, that's great. Let's clarify another section so my students can understand it better. Please rewrite the following section without eliminating any key points. So this is another thing that you can add in, making sure that it doesn't lose anything, because it tends to just make things more concise or rewrite things in a completely different way. And I pasted in that one section that I wanted done, and it came back and explained it differently in a much more simple way. Your future clients are out there searching online for services like yours. It's important to know exactly what they're looking for. Start by researching keywords related to life coaching in your area. A handy tool for this is Google's Keyword Planner. Focus on specific longer phrases. These are called long tail keywords. They're less common, making easier for your website to stand out. So you can see this is really straightforward. It's in my tone, very instructive, but also empathetic, and doing it in a simpler style in a way that people who are brand new would not understand or would understand much better. So SEO, search engine optimization, is all about improving where your website appears in search results. Now, if we go back to the original, you'll see it's written a little bit differently. You can't really read this that well, but it says things like incorporate long tail keywords that are less competitive. Your people may not know what a long tail keyword is. So that's why it's nice that ChatGPT rewrote that bit. Now, don't go crazy. Don't go through and start changing absolutely everything, or you're never going to get this course out there. Just skim through and find the things that you feel that your audience is going to need a little bit more explanation on, and then you can use that. I did give it a little bit more feedback. I just said I would take the INGs out. See, remember I mentioned before, I don't like that boosting and understanding. I would just change it to understand and boost. So I did tell it that.